We picked up one of these lights. These are a pendant light with an actual on and off switch, which is going to be nice and handy for shutting the light off. So this came from Home Depot. It was about $25 or so. And I think this is going to turn out to be a really cool light and something different. So what we're going to do is first unpackage it, remove the plastic. So here we have our 10-inch grapevine ball. We do have a few of these sizes available at nicksseasonaldecor.com. What we're going to need to do first is place the light inside. So as you see, there's too much bulk and it's not going to fit. But if you're able to wedge it, it still won't fit. So there's chicken wire under this, and that's what keeps this in place. So you're going to have to remove a little bit of that chicken wire. So we're just going to snip it here, and we're going to bend that inwards, and then snip it again over here. And see if we can just feed it through now. So I'm not too concerned about the grapevine adding pressure to it. You just have to make sure it's wide enough to actually fit the light through the hole. Now that it's a little bit wider, we can easily fit our light into it. So first things first, we have to add a light bulb. So I chose to purchase a clear light bulb. I think it's going to give us a really cool effect. One thing when purchasing a light bulb, make sure, since we're using wood or grapevine, dried branches, that this light bulb doesn't get hot. So what's really cool about this day and age is that they actually manufacture light bulbs that you can leave on 24/7 and they don't get hot, especially the LED varieties. So it's not like back in the day when the light bulbs got extremely hot to the touch. These will actually stay nice and cool and not pose a fire risk. So we're just going to place the bulb in like that. All we're doing is just screwing it on, making sure that we go all the way and that we're not adding too much force to break the glass. Now we're going to have to be a little bit more careful with placing it. So I'm actually going to snip off this branch and then feed my light bulb into it. So then what we can do is place a zip tie to secure it, but you still see that light bulb through it, which is going to illuminate the entire room. So I don't want this just sitting on it like that. You can if you didn't cut that twig, or if you poke that twig back in, it would stay. But I'm going to make sure that it's not going anywhere. So I'm just going to take a zip tie, feed it through the grapevine, and I'm making sure to use one of the support pieces, so one of those larger pieces, to make sure it doesn't fall off, and then just place a zip tie right on. So it doesn't have to be perfect. If you still see that zip tie, it's fine, because we are going to cover this with some beautiful butterflies. So then what we can do is just snip that right off. And then we have a really cool hanging display. So now I have some of these butterflies. I actually picked these up a really long time ago, and they were on clearance for $5. So we do have butterflies as well, but I always like to use what I have so it's not sitting in my supply room for too long. That gets me in trouble because I'm definitely a craft hoarder. So these are really pretty, and I like them because they're pastel. So you know, wherever you place it, it's not going to draw too much attention. It's just going to enhance the room and create a really funky looking light. So these do come on like 6 to 8 inch wires. So what we're going to do is just feed that wire through the grapevine. Make sure you have more than 1 or 2 twiggy bits. That way it's not going to spin in circles. Then take that wire back to the other side, pull it really, really tight, and wrap it on. And don't worry necessarily about exactly where they are, because I think having a very organic approach and having these kind of flutter everywhere will look really pretty. We can also work in some flowers and greenery, and we may decide to do that later on. Only main thing is to not cover it up completely, because this is a light. So let's continue working in these pretty butterflies. And this pack has pinks, it has blues, oranges, peaches, and yellows. So here's a pink one we're going to work in next. Again, I'm just going to feed it through the grapevine and tie it secure. You can also have them a little bit closer to the ball. You can have them a little bit further away, like the yellow one we worked in. You can also bend them in place too. So we're going to deal with that later on. Let's just work in between 12 and 14 butterflies to get a really nice effect, and then we can kind of shape them to our liking. So this one's wire broke right off, so I'm just going to use our glue skillet, take a scrap stem, apply a little hot glue, and then place it on the body of the butterfly. Make sure you use a generous amount to keep it in place, but you know, this definitely should be placed indoors anyway. So just covering up those zip ties now so you can't even see them. So let's not forget about the bottom. Make sure you place them all the way around. We're creating a sphere of butterflies, so don't forget about underneath. And what happens is if you miss a spot, you can always, you know, place one on once you hang this up. And that's going to be the really kind of turning point, and when you can create those final decisions, because once it hangs up, it's going to look completely different than it does on my table. So I want to add a few more, but I want to keep these nice and close to the base of the grapevine ball. So I don't want these ones sticking out too far. And the reason for that is that it creates the illusion of depth. So right now all the butterflies look really kind of rough, but once we hang it up, trust me, we just held this up and it looks really, really pretty. And we'll show you the finished product at the end. But I'm going to take a couple more of these and just tie them really close to the grapevine ball. And in all honesty, you can just take those wires and poke them right back in. You're not going to see them at all in the end because the grapevine does a great job of covering that up. Now we have a little bit of this moss foliage, and we're going to just snip it right off. And for this, you can hot glue it in place. I'm choosing not to. Oop, did we lose a butterfly? We did. So this one came right off its stick, which is going to be a quick fix. Just take a little bit of our hot glue from our glue skillet, apply it directly to the body of the bee, and just glue it right on. But getting back to our foliage, we can just take these little pieces. We can hot glue them on, but what I think is going to be easiest, since this is going to be a light and nobody's really going to mess with it, or they shouldn't, we're just going to take some of this moss and stick it right into the grapevine ball. And I think this is going to add a really nice, realistic touch and create kind of like a natural garden-style pendant light. So we'll just snip off a few more pieces. It's not going to require a whole lot, and do be cautious with the amount you use because you still have to be able to see the light penetrating through the grapevine and all of the butterflies and greenery. So just a few pieces does the trick. Take another piece, place it on this side. So I'm just snipping it right at the base, and we'll place this piece underneath. And that'll just kind of cascade a little bit. So now what we'll do is we'll hang this up. It does come with a couple screws and eye hooks that you can screw into your ceiling or wherever you choose to hang this, but we're just going to hang it from my shop up here and turn the light on. And here is the finished light. And I think this might be my all-time favorite design that we've created here on Hometalk. I think it turned out so cute, it's so whimsical, and so different. So here's how it looks with just my lights on. I actually have a lot of light up here, so it's not shining as bright as it would at night. But we're going to turn off the lights. I just wanted to show you guys how it looks during the day. And here is how it looks with the lights off up here. So you still get lots of light and you see the light poking through the grapevine, and it kind of illuminates each and every butterfly as you see there. I love the touch of the mossy greens. I think it made it really, really kind of wild and natural looking. So definitely give this project a shot. Very inexpensive. Again, this is a 10-inch grapevine ball. We used 3 packs of inexpensive butterflies and then just a pendant light. And I think it turned out beautiful. And here is how it looks with the lights completely turned off up in my studio. I love that you still see tons of that light bulb, and you see the light actually poking through the butterfly, so it's bringing a lot more color to the room. So here's just an easy way of creating a pendant light and something different. So give this a shot. We used a 10-inch grapevine ball, a few butterflies, and then the pendant light that came from Home Depot. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Nick Kretikos of Nick's Seasonal Decor, and you're watching me on Home Talk. Bye, everyone.